Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
The last thing I want to see you do is get on stage and whittle a fucking guitar about, you absolute cunt.
Go.
Drum and Drummer, welcome.
Welcome.
It's Thursday.
Yep, if you're listening to it. It's not Thursday for us. This isn't live.
Nah, absolutely not.
Is that
Illusion
possible?
shattered.
A live podcast?
I mean, probably on some sort of...
Like YouTube?
YouTube or some shit.
Yeah.
But nah. We record this in advance.
We do. We've done all the episodes for this year. We did it all back in February.
A lot of what we're talking about is predicted.
Yeah. Just guessing. God,
Just
that's a
guessing
hole,
that.
innit?
What's happened there?
Jesus.
Fucking hell.
As you can't see, my shirt is ripped to fuck.
It's a big...
Oh my God. That's a lot, innit?
Are you just showing that to be like, look at my
guns.
muscles?
Maybe a little bit. I sort of half knew.
You have perished the underarm of that shirt. Of that Fred Perry.
That's the right side.
Oh my God. How have you still got this shirt?
I just don't buy clothes.
How have you not
really bad.
thrown that away?
I don't know. I think I like that I've got a Fred Perry, and I go, as long as I don't put my arms up, no one can see it's ruined. Because it is ruined.
Yes, that's awful.
Right, should we go dive in straight
Well, let's dive in. Yeah, I mean,
correspondence?
I hope you've listened to the last few episodes. We've had some good... we had Connor from Flavors and Mel from the PDC. Very enjoyable episodes. Hope you've listened. But yeah, sort of since then, we've had a fair bit of correspondence.
Yeah.
And it turns out you don't know what correspondence means.
No. Because I said, what? So small talk then? And you went, no.
No, the messages. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm the one who reads. Carry on.
I can read.
Yeah.
I choose not to.
This is it.
I'm going to go straight into... We've had an email from Ryan Aldis.
Here we go.
Yeah, friend of the pod. Friend of mine.
Friend of mine.
He used to work here at the Blacksmiths. Hey, team. Like there's a team.
Yeah.
Love
when you say
pod.
like there's a team, as in like there is, or you like that?
No. Of
you're saying
a team.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know.
No.
It's me and you, boy.
Yeah, I hear you.
What are you drinking?
Tea. I meant when you said like there's a team, as in like I do all the work, George. What you just put up an Insta post once a week? As in...
True, but let's move on. Hey team, love the pod. Caught up in about 4 days of work. He's absolutely smashed through that.
Yeah.
He smashed through it. And now very much look forward to the weekly shenanigans. Keep up the consistency. A question for you. Is there a specific drum solo / song with a drum forward sound that first got you hooked that you can remember? Because as a non-drummer, I can't think of one for me. Prove me wrong.
First of all, the fact that he's got two of our, let's say, catchphrases. I don't want to broaden, the show and make it a broadened appeal, but we have got catchphrases. Prove me wrong. Prove us wrong. And we are consistent. So he's got them in.
I don't know if consistency is a catchphrase, but it's definitely a fundamental part of this podcast.
It is.
I'd just also like to point out the email is titled Brighton Tashman.
Yep.
Which I assume is a reference to yourself.
Probably.
And then he's actually drawn a handlebar moustache on our artwork. And the interesting thing is actually the original artwork did have a moustache.
Yeah.
And then you got the artist to remove it.
I did. I said that's
drawn it back on. So anyway, George. Is there a specific drum solo song with a drum forward sound that first got you hooked that you can remember?
Yeah, my God. I mean, we talked about it on one of the first episodes. The reason I wanted to play drums. Shalala by Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous LP. Drum solo on that. That when I heard it when I was 10, I think, after karate. Dad picked me up,
what do you mean
put
after
it on.
Karate?
I went to karate, didn't I? I used to go to karate.
That's never
Chateau
come up.
Can.
39 episodes in.
I swear, did I not mention that bit? I got to brown belt. Isn't that mental? It was brown belt by 11. But
Is that
I
a
don't
good one?
feel like. Well, it's
I
just.
don't feel like brown is a good colour. Like they leave
It's not
that
a
for
good
the
colour.
lower levels. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, it's just below
It's like
black.
wedding anniversaries. The first few are like paper and oats and shit. Do you know what I mean? You don't get any jewels.
No.
What belt is he? Brown.
Brown. Yeah.
The colour
you have to
of
know,
shit.
because everyone knows black belt. You know.
Yeah.
So you got it. You got it. I think it's either nothing or black. But that was the solo for me. That was the solo that made me want to play drums. So if you haven't listened to it before, Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous album, Shalala, there's a drum solo in it. There's sort of 2 drum solos. So it starts off and there's a drum solo. And I remember my dad being like, listen to this. I was like, that was cool. He's like, there's another one. Don't you worry, boy. There's more coming. And then it goes on for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's amazing. I didn't know what it was at the time. I still don't really know in terms of what he's playing. A lot of double kick throughout, just do, and he's just sort of going around the toms. And then it ends with a gong. But that was mine, Ryan. Hope you enjoyed that. And
go listen to that,
some
Ryan.
broccoli.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I was having a think, and I thought I don't think there was any sort of drum solo thing that I was like, ooh, you know, I'm not really a fan of drum solos.
No.
But I've picked out 3 drum fills that I distinctly remember hearing.
Cool.
And going, yeah, I really like that. And the first ones is actually Incubus, their album Science, tracks 5 and 7, Glass and A Certain Shade of Green.
Nice.
There's just a couple of bits sort of like in the middle 8, and the drummer just does these really cool fills. Just sort of like that. And the toms just sound so full and beefy.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I love that. Sort of do that. And then the other one is, I waxed lyrical about it before, but obviously, friend of the pod and previous guest on the pod, Guy Davis, Ruben, debut album, Race Car Backwards, the sort of little drum filly solo bit at the end, near the end of Fall of the Bastille. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So they'd probably be my picks.
Nice.
But I'll be honest, I didn't think about it a lot.
Yeah.
But I do remember hearing those drum fills on Incubus and going, I really like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. And that was before I played drums.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's something important as well.
The Ruben one was I was playing drums already. But those Incubus ones, I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. Anyway.
The only other one I can think of in terms of a drum fill, and this is before I played drums. So you remember the band Busted?
Big time.
Obviously, everyone remembers Busted, but
you're so young. You played drums after Busted existed.
Yeah, big time.
I once got a
Do you not want to hear my drum fill?
Yes.
Where it was, oh God, what did you get? And then we'll come back to my drum fill.
So my godfather, who I met a few times when I was a kid, haven't seen him for 20 years or whatever, which used to get me birthday presents, which I thought was very nice.
Yeah.
You know? And I think he sort of knew I was into like alternative music, and bless him, he tried, but he got me the Busted album, their first album, as a present, and it's kind of like,
But
done.
How old were you when you got it?
Oh, I must have been like 16.
Yeah.
And I was just too old, and I was into the real shit. Do you know what I mean?
I do know.
But now you look back and go, yeah, Busted are fucking brilliant. And
so anyway,
I played Year 3000 in freshman year, and it's really good fun. Yeah.
They, James Bourne, he then went on to do
Bourne Identity.
He then went to form Son of Dork.
Supremacy. Yeah.
Do you remember Bourne Community College? Do you remember Son of Dork? Yeah. So they had a song, I think it was called Eddie's Song. It's my favorite song off their one and only album. But there was a little drum fill. It was like da 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 da, like just something like that. And I didn't play drums at that time, and I was like, that was cool. That was really cool. I used to wind it back on the CD player and listen to it again. I was like, that was cool. I don't know what that was. But what was funny is then I listened to it years later when I was, drumming, and I was like, that's not as good as I thought it was. Listen to it you know, when you're not a drummer, you go, how's he doing that? That's insane. And then you kind of learn, oh, it wasn't. It might have even just been like snare, kick, snare, and that was it. Da, 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 or something like that. And I was like, whoa, that's mental. And you're like, no, it's not really. So there you go, Ryan. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Phoebe.
Other drummers out there, let us know what you know.
Yeah.
Any specific drum things that got you interested in drums? Yeah, got you hooked. You know. Yeah.
We got a message from Phoebe. She said, "Just finished." Phoebe's a friend of ours. Just finished. I'll read the whole message actually. Hey man, hope you're having a great weekend. Just finished new podcast. Lovely stuff as always. Thank you. I did a cruise once. Turns out I do get terrible seasickness, and it was the worst 4 months of my life. That was in relation to when we were talking to Connor, I believe, and we were saying, would you do a cruise? You know, it's like it's the thing of it's so long. Like once you're on it, you can't get off. I mean, you can. You know. It's not prison.
I do also want to say though, I think some cruise contracts are only like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They're not all 4-6 months.
No, but I always feel like they're harder to find. Well, they're the ones that are like,
because people really want to do them, and people do not want to do the 6 month ones.
No, the 6 month ones are always available because no one wants to do them. And also, not to get into cruises, but it's there's different things. You can be in like the show bands and do like, you know, get 100 quid a week and stay in a cabin with someone else, or they do have like theatre shows on cruises, which are insane. I've heard, you know, you make about $2,000 a week or something. It's ridiculous. So anyway, but back to the seasickness. Yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah, not ideal.
Cruise. No,
you get seasick and then you're on a boat.
Yeah,
for a third of the year. Anyway,
in Newcastle.
So yeah, there's a few more. What?
No, that was it. Yeah, sorry, I was going to say
there's a few more community correspondence, but we'll save them for next week because let's move on.
Let's move on to gigs.
Yeah, we'll have a chat about, because it's been a while since we've done an episode, just the two of us, and we've been busy gigging.
Yeah, we have. I've missed it. It's weird. We've had to talk to people, you know, had to interview people, learn, you know. And you have to ask, tell me about yourself. And why can't I talk about me? Just because I'm interviewing someone. What do they want to ask me, you know?
Yeah.
So, any good gig moments?
Well,
recently?
just the one, like, did a gig last week, midweek one. I think it was a rescheduled one from COVID, with Victoriana, acoustic add-on.
Mm-hmm.
So
explain to the folks at home what that means.
So obviously, normally we do a two evening sets, 2 1 hour sets in the evening, full band. Most bands offer a package where you pay a bit more, and a number of the band, 2, 3, 4, will turn up, and during your sort of drinks ceremony after the ceremony, like the drinks reception, we'll do like a little acoustic set for an hour. And in Victoriana, that is keys and vocals, acoustic guitar, and Cajón. So get in there with that sweet cash.
Yeah,
and it's usually fucking easy, and no one gives a shit.
I would just say it's the weirdest thing, isn't it? Because everyone's listening, but they're also not listening.
Yeah.
You could be right in front of them and playing, and they're not even.
And sometimes you definitely feel like an inconvenience.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a few things about this gig I want to point out.
Okay.
So number one is. Oh, right. Yes. So, remember Josh Rowe?
Oh, how could I forget?
Row your boat all the way to the shore.
He'll love that.
He was a guest on the podcast. He talked about doing a gig with his band, and there was a Australian venue manager that they nicknamed Cuntadile Dundee.
Yeah.
So that's where my gig was.
Wow. What, the guy? He was there?
The venue and the guy.
Oh, my God.
So I met
Josh, are you
Dundee.
listening?
Josh.
Fucking
I
hell.
met him. I have played that venue before Josh, but I don't think it was that guy. But anyway, this guy. So we turn up, and he is flustered that we've arrived.
Yeah.
We pull into like the car park bit, and he's like, guys. And it's like, chill out, mate. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
He's right. He's really... like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. And then we're trying to find a place to like where we're going to do the acoustic thing, and it was fucking hot. It was fucking hot last week.
Yeah, it was.
So it's like, it's got to be in the shade, please. It's got
Yeah.
to be in the shade. And the only bits of shade were sort of a bit further away, and then I was like, cool, we just, we need power. And he was like, what? Like, well, we need electricity,
Yeah.
Oh, I was told you're an acoustic trio. Well, yeah, but, you know, keyboard don't work on hopes and dreams, does it? Do you know what I mean?
It's not Barry from EastEnders singing. They
And
can't
what
just
people
shout loud.
We're gonna do it anyway. And yeah, but there are some venues where you're not allowed electrified music outside, and so the vocals, you just can't fucking hear them.
No.
Anyway, we're like, yeah, we need power. So we ended up going slightly further away and got power in the shade. And as we're talking to him, and I'm just we're dealing with this power situation, I suddenly say to Phoebe, oh God. And she's thinking I'm talking about something to do with this setup.
Yeah.
And then we finished chatting to Cunstyle Dundee, and she's like, what's the matter? And I go, I forgot my cajon. I completely forgot it. So
amazing.
So in that situation, it's like, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
Option one is I don't play. And it's just a duo.
Yeah.
But they have paid for 3 people.
Yeah.
Option 2, I was like, I could just snare drum and brushes.
Yeah.
Because it's not about, the cajon, the percussion is so incidental. It doesn't really matter.
God, yeah.
But then I realised my double kick case that I get ridiculed for its size is basically cajon shaped. So I just took my kick pedal out and sat on it.
Yeah.
And just hit that.
Amazing. How did it sound?
It wasn't too bad.
No.
To be honest. It wasn't too bad. It was a hollow box.
Did you mic it up?
Yeah, slapped a 57 around the back.
Oh.
I mean, the snare sound was all right, and I managed to find a bit of it that was like, I had 2 pitches for sort of kicking snare.
Yeah.
The only thing I was worried about was its integrity in sort of keeping me afloat for an hour. But hard case, top job. Yeah. I was able to sit on that for an hour.
Well, there you go.
Break.
We've learned that. It did make me laugh when I saw you put it on Twitter and you had your in-ear monitors next to it. And just
I did like your comment, Bit more hard case in the monitor, please. So, I essentially got paid £100 to sit on my kick pedal case
silly,
and
isn't it?
slap it for an hour.
Not to ever, talk about, I don't know, make it sound cocky or anything, but it's so easy. It's the closest thing to free money. I remember Adam Buxton talking about this, about doing voiceover work and saying it's the closest thing to free money there is. And I think in music, doing an acoustic set is just, as a drummer, it's lovely. You just hit a box for an hour and then, pack it up.
And it was other than forgetting the cajon, it was an incredibly boring and forgettable gig.
Nice. Wow, that's a good segue as to why my gig with Victoriana the other week was not forgettable in a brief moment. So I don't even know if I told you this. I might have done. So I had a gig with Victoriana and we were packing down at the end, and Jack Rene, guitarist, so that
Rene Rapide.
He comes up to me and I'm packing up my drums, and I was aware that he'd been putting stuff in his car and I thought he was off. I was like, oh, you off, mate? Take care. See you later. And he goes, no, I can't get in my car. And I was like, what do you mean you can't get in your car? Like, you lost your keys? Or why can't you get in your car? And he said, there's 2 people shagging right beside my driver's door. And I was like, what? And he said, I went to try and open my door because we were parked outside on the marquee. And he said, it's just, you just see some guy's bare ass bouncing up and down, and there was a bridesmaid and they were just on the ground in all the mud and grass. And so I was like, I've got to see this. That sounds hilarious. So we both went out, and as we went out, they both walked separate ways. So this bridesmaid and groomsman both walked separate ways from his car. And And he was like, "Oh, I guess they've gone." But then the worst part was we saw just a pair of pants,
Oh,
a pair of women's pants near his car.
that's a
And
shame.
but we were like, "I've never ever seen that." But he was like, "I don't know what to do." He was like, "I wanted to get in my car and go home, but there was two people literally sat there." And I know our mums listen to this podcast, so I'm sorry, mums, for that story.
But this is the modern world.
This is no, we're in the game. We're in the rock and roll game. I'm sick of saying it.
Have you forgotten anything to a gig?
Yes. Are you saying that as a genuine question, or so I tell my?
Well, I
story
think
of
I
forgetting
remember the
symbols?
story, but you know,
Yeah.
the main thing was I forgot my cajon, and I just thought, and in that situation, it's like, and that's not the first time I've done it.
No, I remember being
The first
at your
time I did it,
studio
the gig was
working.
close enough
Yeah.
for me to
Well, I
nip
was-
home and get it. But
Yeah, I remember you running into the studio and going, "I forgot my cajon,"
yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, I think I was like, hey, good gig or whatever," knowing that the gig wasn't over.
yeah, because it was 2:00.
Yeah. No, I forgot my cymbals once, but thankfully I wasn't too far away. But I think it was just because I think when you have a close gig, you sort of relax a bit.
Mm.
Even yesterday, I had a fairly close gig from where I was setting off, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I got everything. Whereas if you play somewhere far and you're like, I can't go back.
Yeah.
So we got to Chichester, and actually it was first time I'd met Steve Altham, and he was singing for us. And I was just very embarrassed because I was like, I haven't got my cymbals. And it worked out. It was going to be longer for me it was when I lived in Emsworth and the gig was in Chichester. And it was going to be longer for me to drive back and then get them and come back. And I think my dad was at home. So I said, "Dad, could you possibly," embarrassing myself in front of all my cool mates.
Yeah.
I'm going to phone my dad and ask him to bring the cymbals. But we were trying to work out what would we do if just didn't have, how you'd sort of play it to a point. But my favorite story of someone forgetting something is, I'll out them. I don't care.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that bad. 8 Ball, another function band. The bassist once forgot his bass for the gig.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets amazing. So they were like, right, I don't know what we'll do. I think the guitarist had another guitar. They're like, maybe we could put that through an octave amp or something, and see if we can make a bass. But then they basically announced to the wedding, "Hi, everyone. Our bassist has forgot his bass. On a whim, does anyone have a bass?" And a man at the wedding just so happened to be a gigging musician on his way back from a gig, and he had a Fender Precision bass in his car.
Wow.
Yeah. So they just used that. And that was better than his, but he had a Squire. So it was actually better in a way. But, the luck of that, my God.
It's that immediate sort of, your body just has a physical reaction, doesn't it? When you realise.
Yeah.
And it is that sort of, you can just feel your blood just pump through your body, and you just get this sudden, it's a weird kind of sicky adrenaline shock.
It is. That's exactly what it is. I had it literally on Friday, actually. I forgot my kick pedal for a gig, but I always have a backup kick pedal, just a kind of soft, shitty, felt beater, 20 quid one. And I knew that was in the car, but I was driving along and I just left Brighton. I was like, I'm pretty sure I forgot my kick pedal. Pretty sure. And I pulled over and I was like, yep, it's not there. And then I was already running late. And I got worried because I think I had to get there at 5:30. And I was like, oh, now I'm not going to get there till 5:50. And, I scraped my car as well. I was trying to pull into behind my flats and I just heard and when you scrape your car, I'll put this on the Instagram as well because I took a picture, and you scrape it. I don't know if you've ever scraped a car. Yeah. I've done it too many times. And you go, whatever way I go now, it's fucked. If I keep going forward, I'm going to scrape it more. But if I go backwards, it's just going to scrape again, unless you literally move your car. But then I was just in a flustering, fuck, because it wasn't even like a tailored gig. It was a wedding gig, but with other people. And I was just stressed. I was like, I'm not going to get there till 6 now. But then you turn up at 6 and they're like, oh, we're not sound checking till 7. We're not even. I was just so worried. But yeah. But it's never fun. It's never fun forgetting things. I get terrified up until I'm set up that I forgot something.
Yeah.
But that's gigs. Any other funny gig shit recently? Or anything notable?
I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. So I did a Decade gig a few weeks ago, and he was singing, and me and got paid extra to go down early, and we drove down. We got a van and we drove down there, and then we'd set up the evening and waiting around for the afternoon set, and he was sat in the front of the van. I went to see him. I was like, "You all right, mate?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" Basically, his girlfriend texted him and said, "I think we need some time apart."
Oh no.
And it was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But also,
she just texted him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the start of a 12-hour day, gigging, and it's like he's in 30 minutes he's got to go and sing an hour of love songs. And then I'm thinking, and then obviously do an evening at a wedding, and I'm just thinking, oh Christ, I gotta just help him.
Yeah.
Just emotionally, but also just still got to do the gig.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, and this is what people, I think, like, we're not machines. Like, and I've had someone say to me before, like, a guest at the wedding, almost be like, "Cheer up, mate," when I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, you don't know what's fucking going on.
Yeah.
Like, this is my job.
Mm.
And whilst, yes, it's fun, like, I could be having a fucking miserable time.
Mm.
And thankfully in 2020, I didn't do many weddings.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, but we've still got to go and play. You can't just drop out of the day. But like personal shit, unfortunately, does sometimes come with you to a gig.
Yeah.
And being with other people helps suppress it. But you can just be... Like, I did one gig. This is a bit of a tie-in. Like, it was a Victoriana gig years ago. And Neil was meant to bring something for Phoebe. Had a box with all her leads and pedal for her keyboard. And he forgot that because she was meeting us there. So she couldn't plug her keyboard in, basically.
Mm.
But also at that gig, I suddenly just got incredibly ill and threw up in the car park. And I had the worst headache. I just couldn't move. So I'm just lying in the venue, and everyone, when you're really that bad, like, everyone chips in. So people were just getting my kit out for me. I was like, so basically all I need to do is just sit on it and sound check it. Like, that's how ill I was. I was letting other people set my drums up.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I just repositioned everything because obviously they don't know where it goes. But thankfully, the Ash, who was filling in on male vocals, didn't live that far away. And he was a piano player as well. So he was able to not only go and get some leads and stuff for Phoebe, but also bring me some paracetamol.
Yeah.
And from that day, I just always had paracetamol in my bag.
Yeah. Well, leading on from that story, I've told you this before, and you know, this is generally quite a light-hearted podcast, but if there was ever a time to tell this story, it's now. That time, our bassist, I won't say his name, but you know, his mum passed away between the sound check and the gig, which was just insane. You know, we sound checked at this wedding, and then we went to have our dinner, and then he got a call, and his mum had been ill for, I think, that past year. And yeah, he got this call, and instantly we sort of knew what the call was about. And then, you know, he hung up and he just said, "She's gone." And he started crying. Obviously, he just fell apart. I mean, what would you do? His mum just passed away. And we were sort of saying, you don't have to play this wedding if you don't like this. If in terms of reasons to not play a wedding, even though we're on in 30
it's
minutes,
up there, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to do this. But then he played it amazingly. He played it like from the 2-hour set. He was flawless, didn't miss a note, and it was brilliant. And he just got through it. And but what I thought was brilliant about that day was, like, as a band, kind of like what you were saying, like everyone helped each other. Like, we were all there for him, like, so much, you know. And I was like, we were trying to work out, like, look, if you don't want to drive the van back, like, I'll drive it back, or we'll find a way, you know. And we sort of all came together. And yeah, it was one of those things. It's like, oh man, being in a band is like fucking cool, because it really is like a, you know, like a brotherhood. Like, you sort of help each other out. And but I will say, after seeing that, I was like, I will never ever cancel a gig unless it's a serious excuse. Do you know what I mean? If you see your friend lose his mum and then go, right, showtime, you know, he didn't say showtime, but he went and did the gig. It's like that fucking takes, you know, grit. But yeah, and it's I think that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we're not machines, but I think, I don't know, it's part of how it goes sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I guess, you know, the client, yeah, you're just not, there's an expectation.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And probably rightly so. You know, they've booked a band to entertain, but you can't control everything else. And sometimes you do go to a gig or something happens at a gig, varying degrees. And at the end of the day, you just kind of have to crack on. And
we're very out in the open as well, if you think about it. If you think about other people's jobs, say if you're, you know, you work in an office or you work from home or, you know, in a storeroom or something, if you're having a bad day, you can hide. But when you're on a stage, you know, and people are looking at you, you can't hide. And it's,
well, even that Decade one where I got like the heat exhaustion. It's like, I'm sure people, if people were looking at me while we were playing, be like, fucking, what's up with him? He's just sat there still as he can be with his eyes shut.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it's like, got to keep on playing, mate.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
I definitely think, like, with sort of new people I've had come into the fold with my bands, I've sort of have said, like, the importance of being that united front as a band. And that just comes naturally when something happens to another band member. You have to, you know, you rally round. But even on things like, I've said to Mike in freshman year, like, if someone asks to play my drum kit, it's a no, and we have to put, we have to put up this united front, like, because you don't want two people giving different things, and you are, because we do get a lot of shit at gigs. You kind of have to be this, like, you know, and for me it's like my levels are, no, don't come up, people get the fuck off the stage. You know, and I want everyone to be on board with that. Because as soon as you open the door, people are going to start coming through.
Oh, totally. I had one the other day, I'll say quick, with my new function band. And I'm not saying I'm in any way, you know, more experienced, but I just feel like I've done these sorts of gigs longer and I know how it is to talk to people. We had some guy come up to us. Basically, we got there at 5 and I think we were given, we were told we only have an hour to set up and then we'd sound check afterwards. And we got there at 5 and we were setting up and then some guy turns up and he was like, hey, just so we're clear, like, people are coming in at 5:30, right? And the singer of the band, I won't name names, but they were like, oh, yeah, I guess that's all right. I think, were we told 6? I don't know. Yeah, 5:30. Okay. What is it now? 5:20. Yeah, we can try and be done in 10 minutes. And then the bassist was saying the same. Yeah, okay, we'll try. And I was like, what? Where? Whoa. Okay, everyone just chill out for a sec. And I went up to the guy. I was like, look, on the contract, it said 6. We have an hour to set up, you know? And he was like, oh, it's not what it says out there. And I'm like, yeah, but we need to set up, you know? And I was just like, he's like, yeah, but people want to come in. I'm like, well, we want to set up, you know? And then as soon as I said that, the singer was like, actually, yeah, let me check the contract. And then the bassist was like, yeah, I think it was 6. And suddenly it was like, everyone was like on my side, but they were instantly scared to disagree with this guy. But as soon as I flipped it and said, no, it's 6, and then suddenly there was 5 of us going, no, it's 6. And he was like, oh, okay. In that case, I'll go and see if I can delay them a bit. And, but it was like, that was good. And I was like, nice one, everyone, for, you know, taking my side. But it was like, but that is, I think that's what's important about being
I got a gig the other week. I saw Archie, some guy was talking to Archie, and my brain's going like, what's he asking? Because this guy is asking something, and he had a branded t-shirt on, so he's not a guest. This could have a very detrimental effect on the rest of my day if Archie gives out some misinformation. And so I just kind of casually went over. I was like, oh, well, you know, what's this? And basically, it was the guy who made all the flowers for the table arrangements and these big things, just wanted to know what time we were finishing so they could come in and get the flowers. But it's like, but if that was a venue manager, because we were told it was 11 finish, and we were 3 hours away. So we want that 11 finish to happen.
Yeah.
If this was someone saying like, "Oh, you fin," because the flower guy didn't want us. Oh, because weddings always overrun, and I was like, "Yeah, but we don't."
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna finish at 11.
Yeah.
But it's like if he was a venue guy or someone to do like being like, "Oh, actually, it should be 11:30," and
Yeah.
but my experience, like, sorry, the contract says 11, so we're done at 11.
I quite like I've become a bit more of a slimy bastard as well. Like I'll do that thing where I'll sort of give people, like that guy that was like, "Oh, can I not send people in at 5:30?" And I was like, "Well, we'll compromise. Why don't we say like 10 to 6?" And he was like, "Yeah, so I'll send them in like 20 minutes." I was like, "Yeah, 25, 20, 30 minutes, probably about 30 minutes." And he was like, "So 25, yeah, probably 30." Like just trying to like, and I hate those people. I hate people that will say like, "Oh, just maybe a little bit more, just a bit." And I've become that, and I don't regret it. But there we go. Have we got any drum dumpster or Tom of the week?
We do. Yeah, just before that though, just a couple of little bits. I mentioned a few weeks ago I played drums on an album that was coming out in August.
Oh yeah.
By the band Norm Archer. That album is now out.
Cool. Everyone go and
Post
listen
it
to
on
it.
the Twitter, but go and have a listen. I played drums on 4 of the songs.
Nice.
The 5th one didn't make the cut. And I'm assuming it's not because of me. And I also want to say, I'm sorry to say it, Georgie boy, but I have another podcast.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
You're going to publicize on here?
I am, yeah.
Fucking hell.
I know, but what a platform.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Christ, what a podcast.
Go on.
This
I'm
is
gonna
called
lean back.
the Mix Forge podcast. And this is me
Boo.
and and little Neil Elliott, who, friend of the pod, been mentioned many times. And it's a podcast about the blacksmiths, basically. 4 episodes out so far. And then we're having a break because he's swanned off to Florida.
He has. I got an email from him yesterday saying, "I'm on holiday, do not contact me." And it was just to me. And I was like, what am I going to contact you about?
First couple of episodes, history of the old blacksmith studios. The next couple, sort of like what we do in terms of recording and mixing and stuff. And when he's back, we'll do some more. Who knows?
Yeah.
But go find that on your podcast apps as well. But do keep listening to Drum and Drummer.
Well, yeah. Right. I have one question about Mix Forge. Is it going to be as consistent as this? Are you going to do
it's
weekly?
not. It's not going to be a weekly show.
No.
It's going to be more episodic.
Nice.
That would be the phrase.
Yeah.
It's a bit more. I'd say it's a little bit more serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as it is sort of like an official blacksmith's sort of product,
Yeah.
as it were. But it's a chance for me and Neil to sort of talk about what we do dicking around in the studio.
It's a good idea.
With our time.
Yeah.
So when he's back from holiday, we'll crank out a few more. But go and find that.
Go listen to it, everyone. Yeah. Because it is good.
It's Tom of the Week! Tom of the Week!
That's a lovely
Tom of the Week this week is Tom Ford.
Who's right, I'm not going to embarrass myself by saying who I think
American
that is.
Fashion designer.
Yeah, but that wasn't who I thought it was.
Filmmaker. Made a couple of films apparently.
Nice.
That's all I've got.
We're scraping the barrel now.
Well, I don't want to say scraping the barrel, but you wait till next week's.
Yeah.
Yeah. then you can tell me if we're scraping the barrel or not.
Not one of our brothers, is it?
No, not yet.
No. They will be one day.
Yeah.
Well done, Tom Ford. Is he alive?
Yep.
Cool.
He's quite a good looking chap, actually.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well,
he's got
maybe
his own clothing line or whatever. He used to work for Gucci and Yves Saint Laurent, apparently. One of
pretty
them.
Good things to have on your resume before going solo.
Yeah.
Well done, Tom.
Well done. Pop that with your clothes.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact about.
Get George a new T-shirt. Get George a nice Tom Ford T-shirt.
Is it Dolce Gabbana or is it Gucci or is it, I can't remember who it was, but the owner, the CEO, doesn't allow ugly people in his stores.
That's Drum and Drummer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. Actually, we don't allow ugly people to follow us. If you're ugly, do not follow us. No, please follow
Please
us. We
follow.
need all the help we can get.
Yeah. I was going to say something else.
Please don't edit out the silence. Keep that in.
Yeah.
Please keep all of this in.
All of this in.
The
Fuck's
silence. You know when there's a silence on a podcast and you go,
sake.
is
Yeah.
my headphone cut out?
Yeah.
It'll be that.
Even if it's like just, I think there's a,
Yeah.
when I edit them, there's like an optimum gap
Yeah.
where it's like, and it feels like a second and a half is too long and a
Yeah.
second is fine. But I just did about 8 then. I can't remember. Oh, it's just so much going on.
Yeah.
Like I had to have all my brake pads replaced on my car. Ugh.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm going back to the tattoo place tomorrow, getting more tattoo done.
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
3 gigs this week. One of them's for your band.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you about all the other gigs over. We didn't really even. I just discussed someone having sex and missed all the other gig stuff. But
That's fine, isn't it? Because there's
Yeah,
been a
that's
lot
some-
of gigs.
that's some
I was
stuff.
going to say, yeah. Get in touch. Have you forgotten anything important to a gig? Is a key one. And have there been any incidents at gigs that have made you not able to perform? Or
Yeah. Or
difficult
here's
to
one as
perform?
well. Any times you've gone, I'm going to step up. Do you know what I mean? This mofo ain't talking to me like that. I'm going to say no.
You ever got Aggie?
You got Aggie.
Have you had to get a little bit?
You ever gone,
little
right,
bit,
I'm going to have to talk to... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sort this out.
Yeah, exactly. Because someone's
so-
got to. Someone's got to.
And some gigs, that responsibility does not fall on me.
No.
And sometimes it all falls on me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're the manager on a gig I'm on,
Yeah, George don't give no shits.
no, I'm off. I'm off.
Swans in with his new bass case. Mm.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll leave it there, boy.
Right, yeah.
Fun
Awesome.
chatting, mate.
It was fun.
Lovely catch up.
Like I haven't seen you in a
Lovely
while.
catch up. Yeah.
All right.
Busy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember,
Just pick up the sticks and twat it.